Yo! Video games.
What up, dudes, and welcome back to the YoVideogames podcast. I'm Matt.
And I'm Andrew.
And once again, thank you to all our generous patrons who kept us going for 307 episodes.
307. Yeah, if you're interested in becoming a patron at any level, please check out patreon.com/YoVideogames Due to the week is Barkon345.
Thank you, Barkon.
Thank you, Barkon. He's producer.
Yeah.
I think he's been with us since the beginning. Possibly since the beginning.
Most of the way. From the beginning when we used to talk about it, but now we're living it. The dream. We are actually sponsored, this podcast.
By BJ. No, I'm kidding. By Manscaped.
By Manscaped.
And we're finally doing something with the collectible figurines that are around here.
Yeah. So if you want to be a real man's man, you want your balls to smell great no matter who's going down on them. So
Teddy Roosevelt.
Teddy Roosevelt. So yeah, if you go to manscaped.com, they actually have a bunch of different things to look into. There is a really nice, convenient package. Comes with this nice little bag. Comes with all the stuff you see here and more, actually. That comes with some
I'm calling
boxers.
that out. Did you say package on purpose?
Yes.
And
it comes, the big one is, of course, the Lawnmower 4.0. It's a ball trimmer. I don't know if Andrew wants to Vanna White that shit or whatever, but
the thing is that it's waterproof, and I now I've definitely tried it.
Mm-hmm.
I did not try it dunked in water or some bullshit like that, but I was in the shower. It was misty. There was water hitting it, it works.
Comes with 4 different sizes, so depending if you want a light forest or low, or a very freshly groomed savanna.
I'm gonna give you some real detail into my life. I tried to do a little shaping of the topiary. I do not have the skills for it, so it's all one thing for me. But yeah, you get 4 different lengths to choose from. And so if you like to keep a little bit more down there.
I got nostalgic using it because I couldn't remember the last time my balls felt so free.
So free and so great.
No, because I used obviously they sent us it so we could test it out beforehand, which is nice. And I actually got nostalgic. I'm like, man, my balls haven't felt like this loose and free for eons.
Oh, I thought you were gonna have a particular date since prom.
Like, no,
I haven't had free balls.
I was it was I couldn't remember when, but I'm like, I remember my nuts feeling like this open and cool and breezy. Yeah. And then I slathered that shit up with some crop reviver, or actually no,
you got crop preserver. Crop revivers is the kind of whore's bath thing,
Yeah.
You just you worked out, but you can't actually do any showers.
There's 2 different deodorants for your nuts. The first one is an after shower, which is crop preserver,
and it's anti-chafing.
Oh, it is.
It works. Yeah, no, it does work.
And then crop reviver, which is your Axe body spray. If you're at a convention and you're wearing some costumes, you got your Batman going on or whatever,
and you got high hopes.
You got high hopes, and if you look like Val Kilmer of the '90s, maybe not so much now.
Well, that's Mike.
Yeah, that's look
at those lips,
That's
those
just
supple
Mike.
lips. Oh my god!
And you're gonna have a really good time, at Dragon Con or something, and it's you're in a skin tight suit all day, really seals in the flavor. You're gonna want to take a little bit of crop reviver.
Yeah, are you gonna take this with you when you go to Dragon Con? When are you going back to Dragon Con? Next year? You think?
When it's hopefully
when it's safe.
Look, I don't want to get too off the deep end here, but it's Dragon Con did happen this year. I did not go. Because at the time there was zero fucking zero availability at any hospital in Atlanta.
Whoa.
So
a little scary, yeah.
So I was like, you know what? No, I'm not. It's not like I'm planning to get hospitalized while I'm driving. I never have. You don't intend to. But I'm just the fact that there are 0 beds available for anything.
No one's
during Dragon Con this year. I was like,
that freaked me out. Yeah.
No, I don't think I will.
Well, when you go back, are you going to take it with you?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I mean, I've cosplayed Mad Max and shit, so it's leather pants.
Oh my god, I remember we did the photos for that, and I think you called your balls a fountain while we were out there. We went out to like Vasquez Rocks.
Yeah, like the fountain, part 2.
Anyway, if you would also like to have fresh balls, please use YoVG at manscaped.com and you will get 20% off and free shipping worldwide. Your balls will thank you.
That's a big, nice deal. So
it is nice, yeah.
Almost as big as my balls.
Is that why your dick looks small? Your balls are so big?
I just wanted to say, okay, not related to Manscaped, but man, I have never heard someone feel so weirdly guilty of getting their pet neutered.
Oh my god, yeah.
You were like, man, I just feel so bad for you had to get your dog, because that's what you do. You get your dog neutered. You keep your balls fresh and nimble, as a human.
And don't worry about your dog's nuts.
And keep them
They're
deodorized. But it's like when you have pets, you get them neutered because that's a smart thing to do. But I've never...
Yeah, people keep saying that. So here's the thing. People keep being like, oh, yeah, they're healthier. But why? Why are dogs healthier without their nuts? And I mean, yeah, I don't want to be responsible for, dog getting out and mating with nothing, and then there's puppies, and they're going to go to a kill shelter. Yeah, okay, but I got to be honest. I felt a little guilty taking him in for that. He was the best he's ever been in a car that day. And he was just, excited to be with me out and stuff. And then, we went to the vet, and he was like, I like the vet. I've been here a couple times. Things are always fine. I get treats, get a lot of attention. Where's Dad going? Why aren't you coming back? What are you doing with that razor? I felt real bad. And then there was, a whole day after where my dog was just kind of, mopey. I just all I wanted to do was snuggle the I turned 33 and got a dog, and I just became full
you were saying he knew his nuts were gone.
He did. He knew they were gone.
He knew they were gone. They were big and
they were huge. His nuts were fucking that. My dog's not that big. He's a 30-pound dog.
Yeah, you have a little dog. I mean, even your wife was he had big balls. She's I think his balls were a third of his weight.
His sack is still hanging. You can still see his sack. It's ridiculous.
I know. It looks like a really saggy vagina now.
It's sad. So I got a little bit bummed out about that, but I can't tell you how big of a nerd I've become since I got this dog. Today I caught myself playing with the puppy. And no shit, I called myself the king of toesies, and he's got to pay the toesy tax. I was trying to grab his toes, and he was running around. He was having a great time, and I caught myself. I was like, "This is not a human child. I'm being the fucking weirdest." Neighbors are just hearing this guy be like, "I'm the king of toesies. Give me your toesies."
Wow,
I'm a 33-year-old man.
Yeah, you're starting to sound like a Nickelodeon executive.
I'm the fucking worst.
Makes live action sitcoms for Nick. Hey, someone knows what that's about.
Just the worst. Anyway, so speaking of the worst, we're gonna go the opposite. We're gonna talk about the best. Dune. See it, preferably in theaters if you're gonna risk your life. Which
I went to
most people are.
I went to a
probably
private
fine.
Screening.
You son of a bitch.
Yep. And I
saw it in my living room.
Yeah, I got to see Dune
like a real man
on the big screen, although it wasn't the biggest of screens. It was because it was a private screening. They put us in the back, theater or whatever, but it's fine.
Yeah. Well, I mean, still theater. It's still cool as hell.
It wasn't everyone I knew because it was it was a private screening that a friend had set up. And I knew 3/4 of the people there, and then there were some coworkers, but I trust them, so I was like, cool. I'm in the theater with just people, almost everyone I know, and it's cool. I didn't have to wear them. I didn't even have to wear the mask once I got in and sat down. Well, I had food, so I was like, well, I had to take it off anyways, and I'm like, you know what, it's fine. We're in a private screening, so that was great, and I fucking loved it. Well,
pretty
okay.
good.
I'll be 100% real. Not my favorite Denis Villeneuve.
Yeah. He fucked me up for the longest. I think it's Rune.
Not my favorite Denis Villeneuve film, but I still think it's really effing good. Now I don't want to set it off saying oh, yeah, he didn't like it that much. No. Here's the thing. The thought I had during and after the film was, this is what I wanted from Star Wars.
You might want to bring that closer, by the way. This is what you wanted from Star Wars?
This is what I wanted from Star Wars. Yeah, get all up in there.
So you can turn towards camera without it getting weird.
There was tension and there was It was transportive, you know, like in the way like people talk about the way we have a friend who's fucking enamored with Star Wars is the way I kind of like felt watch this movie. I'm like, I'm transported to another planet.
Well,
this is foreign but cool, like, you know, and there's mystery. There's no mystery in Star Wars. There hasn't been mystery in Star Wars for like 40 years.
And it's odd to think about because Star Wars takes. There's definite
and you can
references
see
in Star Wars
how
towards-
Star Wars, you know, took liberally from this, and that's fine. But like, it was interesting to watch a really good deep sci-fi movie that had great acting, great cinematography, and there was mystery and there was tension.
And it doesn't actually spoon feed you a ton.
No, not at all.
Like it gives you enough. Like you know what you need to know. And like I am openly, I don't very much like the writing in the book. I think the book's cool because of the ideas that it puts out there, and I mean, like, it has a deep lore to it that's very cool.
Yeah,
it takes place thousands of years in the future.
So here's the weird thing I thought about that. I mean, it's really not spoiler because it's the first thing you see on screen. Like the year it takes place in is 10,191.
Yeah,
and I was like, so is this supposed to be like 8,000 years in our future? Because like none of the movie takes place, obviously doesn't take place on Earth, obviously.
They don't ever say.
They don't say.
No,
they don't say if it's supposed to be like from a real world. Because like, you know, Star Wars does a whole thing where it's like a long time ago in a galaxy far, far away. Basically saying like these are not humans that came from Earth and then later colonized them. And they're like, no.
And the rules don't apply here is another reason why they say that. You know, like the rules of nature that you know don't necessarily apply here. Mm-hmm. But I would argue that, like, yeah, I think it's hinting at that. I think that's what they're hinting at in Dune.
It's interesting because there's intrigue, and again, there's mystery and intrigue with it, which you don't get with Star Wars. You haven't gotten with Star Wars.
I think they tried to. I think the prequels tried to have that political intrigue, and this did it.
The prequels tried to do politics, but like there was no more mystery because they were just showing like. Again, episode 1, I mean, it's a very dead horse. Let me go hump the corpse of this dead horse here. But it's like, yes, midichlorians was stupid because it just, we're going to take away the force. We're going to say it's a bunch of little bacteria in your body kind of thing. I'm like, I didn't want to know that. And I didn't really want to know where the force
Nobody
came from.
cares, George.
Like, I didn't want to know. And now giving a scientific explanation for it, your nanomachine son moment is like stupid. So this film, because it is part 1, they don't have any advertising on any posters, on any commercials. It just says Dune. You go to the movie, it says Dune Part 1.
Yeah,
which is funny, but
well, because they haven't decided whether or not the second one's going to be made.
So
see
but,
it.
But it's like there's genuine mystery to it. Like they kind of like they give you enough info. I'm like, wait, how is this even possible? And they're just kind of like it's still like mysterious. Mostly relating to like the spice and like, you know, the
spice melange.
Yeah, or like, you know, there's like a faction that's like
the
mystic.
Bene Gesserit.
Yeah.
And
so it's like there's mystery to it and you're intrigued by it, but they give you just enough. They give you just enough to be intrigued where it's not like confusing. I didn't feel confused. Like I wasn't confused at all. Like they give you just enough to be like, okay, this is a thing. And you're like, I want to know fucking more. Well, I'd kind of like to know more about that. But this is almost a 3-hour film.
Yes, it's like 2.5 hours at least.
Yeah, like 2.5, 2:45, something crazy.
And it's good. I honestly, I didn't have a problem with it being that long. I actually thought about it. I was like, yeah, if they would have just made this a 4-hour total film to get through the book, I probably would have just like dug it.
Yeah.
You know, there's things about the book. You know, there's 2 arguments that get made about the book. One, Paul Atreides is a Mary Sue.
That still comes off a bit in the film.
Yeah, and the argument is that like he's the chosen one. I mean, the Matrix takes from this. Everything takes from this. But he's the chosen one in like 2 different stories. You know, he's the Bene Gesserit chosen one. He's also the chosen one on...
I personally hate chosen one storylines.
I think they're the most...
Not only because they're overdone, but also just because it loses urgency to me in the storytelling.
Well, because you know they're going to live. Well, the thing about Dune is that in the book, and maybe I'm misremembering, but I'm pretty certain, there's a lot of things that like Paul just knows already. Mm-hmm. Like he already just knows. And in the movie, they do a good job of like hiding that, where it's like he's a little bit of like he's learning it with you. He's still, the chosen one, but he's not quite as prepared and ready. In the book, he comes off very prepared and ready because he can see the future. But the theories is that it's supposed to be a critique of the chosen one, and it's that the book is actually it's actually just a really clever critique of the hero, and that the real hero in the book is Arrakis itself. Because there's that famous quote by the author where it's like Arrakis is a planet plagued by a hero. Dune is the story of Arrakis plagued by a hero, basically like that. And it's like, okay, well, if that is true, one, I feel like you're reading way more into it than is actually there in the first book, at least. Maybe in the later books it gets different. Or it's just that this is the first chosen one, and everybody took from.
They also have I don't want to get too much into spoilers, but they also sort of imply too that the chosen one is like a bit of a self-fulfilling prophecy by certain people. So
yeah, well,
they kind of they have some good kind of things in the movie too, where they're kind of saying like a lot of this shit is like set up.
Yeah, the thing is, if you haven't seen or if you haven't read the book or seen the original movie, this movie does a really good job of explaining it to you in pieces. You learn things at the moment you need them, and kind of like you learn just enough that you understand what's going on.
There's like a couple moments where it's like, okay, this is mostly an exposition scene, but they try to do it fairly well.
Yeah,
they try to do it naturally. There's a better emphasis on it.
I think something that is really cool about Vano in particular, and it's actually one of the things where you can like, even if you don't like J.J. Abrams, no one can argue that J.J. Abrams can't do an exposition scene. And the mark of a really good director, generally, is how well they can make you watch an exposition scene without thinking about it being an exposition scene. Because everybody hates exposition dumps.
Except anime.
Yeah, fair. Anime loves exposition dumps. Fuck. That's all it is. But the point is like, we don't really like exposition dumps, so you got to find ways to keep things moving around it. And I think maybe one of the reasons why this isn't your favorite Vano film is this is the heaviest exposition dump film that he does.
It is. It's also not done.
Yeah.
It's very much a part one.
Yeah, that's true.
That and like it's a cool really I actually did kind of get a little bit of Lord of the Rings vibes a bit from it, at least from a filmmaking standpoint. But
it definitely has
more
that
to the
kind
point.
of
like
ending,
this is a movie that's it's a sci-fi setting of interstellar politics and religion and a lot of like there's a lot of good stuff in there. I don't think it hits as hard as say some of the other films he's done, where it's just it feels more personal. And I keep in mind, I haven't even seen Arrival, but like Arrival is a more
personal story.
Yeah. And Blade Runner was a more personal story, it felt like, and obviously Sicario is a very, very personal kind of like, I don't want to mean like personal, like specifically to the characters, but like it feels like a more.
This is definitely a grander scale.
Yeah,
story.
grander, kind of like talking about like shit in general. Where one is like Arrival's about like connections and
divorce,
right? And Blade Runner's about existentialism, and Prisoners is what, or no, I didn't see Prisoners. Sicario, Sicario is just like a very real world sort of like heavy hitting, like, man, this
well,
revenge, if anything, just sort of like revenge and consumed ideals, your personal ideals, being challenged kind of thing.
There's an interview with Vano where he talks about he doesn't like to make a movie unless it has some sort of personal through line. Mm-hmm. And so Sicario is actually about an idealist learning that everything has a cost.
Yeah.
And Arrival is about learning that is about reflecting on whether or not even though you ended up divorced, or even though things split or change, was the journey worth it, knowing what you know now.
Yeah.
Prisoners is kind of about like how the darker side of fatherhood, or how far you would go, or what you would be willing to do, you know, as a person who is both a victim and also now trying to be is a perpetrator.
Yeah.
You know, I think he makes very good personal stories. I don't think anybody could argue that he isn't good at making blockbusters. He's great at it.
Not
but
great at making money.
Well, I think he's been screwed a couple times here now where, you know,
I mean, to be fair, like
nobody has seen a Villeneuve film and been like, that guy doesn't have talent.
Yeah, right. Well,
like,
I mean, like Blade Runner was the first like big budget blockbuster style.
yeah, and he
film
thought he ruined. He thought he was ruined.
He thought he was ruined because nobody went to see it, which I hold everyone personally accountable for.
A bit heartbreaking that not a lot of people saw it. There's a trend now for like
it
people
was
to be like,
marketed incorrectly.
Yeah.
It's not his fault. You know, that definitely falls on the WB marketing machine.
I feel like that happens to him a lot.
Like, it was not an action movie. It is not a sci-fi. People were going in expecting like something like The Matrix, or like the first Matrix, or you know, or something similar.
Well, Prisoners, for instance, was marketed like it was like an action thriller, not like a pure thriller / family drama, which is what it was. Sicario was, you know, basically put in the same way, where it was like it was nothing but an action film, and like I would argue Sicario is not. I mean, it's got a lot of action to it. There's action to it, but like it's a thriller.
Yeah.
You know, Blade Runner was again, oh, this is nothing but an action film, and it's not. It's a noir film. And maybe a thriller. I wouldn't say that there's thriller elements there, but it's mostly a noir film.
Yeah.
You know, Arrival is in some ways a romance. Like,
yeah,
it's and that's why I think he's good at sci-fi though. He's good at no worries. He's good at sci-fi because what makes sci-fi good is the human element.
Yeah.
You know, all the world and the world building and stuff, it's cool, right? But what tells the story is what, you know, that human element in that world. So this, I would argue, is the reason why, you know, you don't necessarily think it's his best, right? You know, not to say that it isn't good. It's good, but it's not. I would say it's the least his. This is the most.
Yeah. It also is an adaptation of a very beloved book, so I feel like that also kind of like
makes
it's not going to have as personal a touch, you know, as say something like, you know, Arrival or Sicario.
It has a lot of his visual elements.
And the thing that's weird about Danny is that he doesn't actually write his movies. Like, they're all like usually written by someone else.
Yeah, and I mean this one he gets a writing
think, maybe
credit.
not all of them, but like a lot of them are. No,
all of them are, and he writes he works really hard to make sure that the writer's vision is what ends up on the screen.
Yeah.
He's a writer's director. A lot of writers talk about that, where they're like the guy from Arrival was like, never in a million years did he expect all of a sudden he was getting calls every day from the director. And he was just like, hey, man, nobody's ever done this. And, like, the director started taking him to every meeting and, like, dissecting scenes with the writer.
Okay.
And, like, the writer was like, I don't understand why this guy's doing this. Like, no one does that. Yeah. Everybody, once the director's hired, I don't get called ever.
Well, and that's a crazy interesting thing about it is that, you know, for something like Blade Runner, it had the original writer, Hampton Fancher. I think it's Hampton Fancher. And there was one other writer, but I was like, this is the guy who wrote the original, and he wrote the second one.
Yeah.
And it's like, it's interesting because it feels like this guy, more than Ridley Scott, you know, was really the voice of Blade Runner, was the writer. You know,
yeah.
Ridley's, you know, he was a visualist, you know, and whatever, but...
And Ridley writes on every single one of the films that he does.
He does, and, I mean, that's why you have 5 fucking versions of the original Blade Runner.
Well, it's also why now what he does, and apparently he's famous for it, he only shoots exactly what cuts. Like, he basically shoots his films now in such a way that you can only cut it the way he intends. And the reason why he does that is so that the studio can't do their own edit, but then also it saves loads of money for the studio.
Because of Blade Runner.
I would argue it's probably because of Blade Runner, and it's probably because of Kingdom of Heaven.
Yeah, that too.
Kingdom of Heaven,
He's had
they
a director's
recut
cut for Alien, Blade Runner, I can't,
Kingdom of Heaven.
Not Labyrinth. What's the fucking Tom Cruise fantasy?
Tom Cruise fantasy.
Yeah, where he plays like Link and like Tim Curry plays the devil.
I don't.
You don't
remember
know
this.
this
I
Legend?
don't remember. Legend?
You've never seen Legend?
I don't think I have.
Oh
Holy
my
shit!
God! Wow. Yeah, there's a whole.
Love me some Tim Curry. I love me some Tom Cruise.
Oh my God, Tim Curry's amazing. He's in full prosthetics though, dressed up as the devil. You've never seen Legend?
I don't think I've seen Legend. No.
What the? That has a director's cut. I'm
pretty certain every single one of his movies has a director's cut.
Almost. I don't know if Black Hawk Down did, but like.
No, but I think Black Hawk Down's the first movie where he started just like shooting.
Gladiator
exactly.
didn't either. I don't think.
Yeah.
I don't think. Oh my, that there's a lot to say about that, but
Yeah, well, I mean that Gladiator 2.
No, Legends is interesting because there's two cuts. There's a Jerry Goldsmith cut, and then there's a cut by Tangerine Dream. So like the director's cut has completely different soundtracks. One is again Jerry Goldsmith and orchestra and all that shit, and then one is fucking 80s synth out the ass.
Which one's better? I wonder.
I mean, they're both really interesting.
People say interesting when they don't want to call something bad, like they're not sure about it.
It's not okay. Legend's not great either way, either version. There's no great. Oh, people are gonna cruise.
I hope there's some fucking Legend fan out there with like.
Look, Tim Curry's great, and it's fun to watch. But
I bet Tom Cruise is great.
It's fucking weird, man. He's dressed like Link, man. It's so fucking weird.
Do you think that's why he made it?
I don't know. I can understand why Tim Curry would make it. We're like, hey, this is what you're gonna look like. You're gonna have these huge giant horns. We're gonna like completely like put your face in this giant like devil cast, and it's like. Sure.
I heard a rumor once that Ridley Scott was a person who put his name in the hat for a Legend of Zelda movie once.
Oh, really?
Yeah. And I don't know if there's like any real veracity. That was one of those things like you hear it from like some fucking gaffer.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, I mean, he was in who the fuck knows? But it'd be very funny to me if it turned out that was true and he got told no and he made Legend. What year is Legend from?
It's like 80 something.
Too early.
Yeah.
Too early.
Zelda came out in like 80, 85, 86.
Yeah, and he wouldn't have been aware of it.
The movie came out pretty close to it or whatever.
That's funny.
Oh my God, though. But yeah, you just gotta watch it just for Tim Curry, where he's just like he captures the princess or whatever, and he's just like, "What do you want? I just want you to sit and talk with me." Like he just wants to have a woman to have dinner with. He's Skullomania from Double Dragon Neon. All he wanted was a date.
This sort of goes like this is very much on topic, and I realized that we forgot to say the topic, and the topic is polish versus creativity.
Yeah.
You watch a movie, the more polished it is. I've been noticing lately that like sometimes the more polished it is, the less creative it is, and I'm wondering if. Well, one, is that true? Maybe that's just like...
I think it is. And if you're asking about, like, say, for gaming, I think that's all... I mean, I think it's quantifiably easy to say that's true for film.
Yeah.
Because you've got the Star Wars prequels and the Star Wars... Well, maybe not so much prequels, but the Star Wars sequels.
Yeah.
Star Wars sequels are well-produced, well-acted, well-shot.
They are technically perfect.
They are technically well-made films.
Yeah. You're not going to...
Yeah.
You're not going to see a wobble on a dolly shot.
Amazing Spider-Man, the Andrew Garfield one. They're technically well-made films. I only saw the first one. I didn't see the second one, but I thought it sucked. But like, why did it suck? And I'm like, because I can't buy this fucking beautiful ass man as nerdy Peter Parker like at all, and like the villain sucked. He looked like a Goomba from the Super Mario Brothers movie, and
I can't. So the thing that spawned this in my mind as I was watching, we've been kind of on a kick of watching some of those like older, 80s, 90s films, but like we were watching John Carpenter films, and then we watched The Evil Dead.
See, they're not polished.
There's not. I mean, I wouldn't say there's no polish, but there's
not a lot. There's not a lot of budget, even for the time.
And like you can tell when they did oneers, like when they did one take, not oneers in terms of the whole scene, but like you can tell when like there's some stiltedness.
Yeah, they got one take and they had to move on.
Yeah, and like I was watching this and I was like buying it. Like I was all in.
Yeah.
Like I was noticing mistakes and stuff, but like I didn't give a shit at all.
Yeah.
Whereas like if you watch something hyper polished, you're gonna give a shit. Like mistakes like a cup on screen or a water bottle or something like that is immediately like.
Do you remember there was like a thing in Game of Thrones, like a Starbucks cup
Yeah.
was left on a table and
you're
everyone
immediately like,
noticed
what
it.
the fuck?
I think they digitally edited it out or some shit.
Yeah, in later
I
episodes.
was like, nah, fucking keep it.
Well, in part of my mind is like, yeah, keep it, but like what this came down to is like John Carpenter is sort of famous because he made a lot of movies in the $3 to $5 million range.
Yeah.
He signed a deal with a production company where they basically said, we will approve a movie based on a synopsis alone, but you only get $3 million hard cap.
Provided you can do this synopsis and this budget.
Yeah,
so.
and he made a movie like Prince of Darkness, which Prince of Darkness has like insane effects, all practically done.
Yeah.
He did them himself, and like there's shit like water gravitating up and like skin melting off people and shit like that he just like got done.
Well, you ever seen like I don't remember exactly, but like the opening title for The Thing is literally like I forget what it is. It's like tape or some fabric just like over the box.
Yeah.
And like they just like melted it off. Like with like a heat gun or something, or like something crazy like that, and that's how they got that melting away effect where it says The Thing. Like it's like this.
I can picture
it's
it,
like
but I
this
didn't know that's
dummy.
how they did that.
It's like this dummy simple practical effect.
Yeah,
where like it just comes off looking great.
and you're just like, yeah, you think about the original Indiana Jones where faces melt and shit.
Yeah,
and you're like, yeah, when you were watching that as a kid, you knew it was fake.
Yeah,
but I feel like some of these older movies where practical effects happen, the practical effect is like, it's like a handshake, right? They're all like, you're going to suspend disbelief and we're going to show you a cool fucking story, right? But now you don't have to suspend disbelief. Thanos looks like he's fucking standing there.
Yeah.
Like these ships in Dune look like they're fucking there and look like they're exploding and they're great. The visuals are great. Like, truly love them. I am not shitting on this at all. But I was wondering if, like, because of how much time it takes to have that polish, because of how much work it takes, you can't do things on the fly. Yeah. You can't like have inspiration. I mean, you do. That's why working.
There is a good positive side effect to this, and that is, I don't know if it'll translate to money, but like. Now it's like now you have to rely on the story being good and the characters being good, and you have to rely on the actual film.
But I think that's why the story itself,
because like everything looks great now. Everything looks like it's there, in 3D space. So now you really it actually matters now. Now the storytelling and everything actually,
But that's actually why I think stories are getting less interesting. I think stories are getting less interesting because now so much money and time is put towards those other things, towards the polish.
Well, I mean, that's what I call
afterthought.
prequel problems, because prequels have no fucking good acting. They have no good writing. They have their editing's not good. Like
I would argue the prequels have good acting. They just weren't acting with anybody. They just weren't acting. I don't even think
I don't even think they're good for tennis balls most of the time.
Really?
No, a couple people do. Ewan McGregor does a pretty good job.
I think Ewan McGregor does a pretty good job.
Especially by the third film where he's definitely gotten used to it. But other than that, they fucking suck. Natalie Portman's an Oscar-winning actress, and she fucking sucks in those movies.
Rough. It's rough in that.
Like even Samuel L. Jackson comes off bored half the time, or like 3/4 of the time. Okay, there is one caveat, and that's Ian McDermott, because Ian McDermott's a fucking stage actor.
I was gonna say Ian McDermott was pretty fucking good.
Because he's a stage actor, and B, he fucking loves his role. Like he loves being there. Like
that's fair.
Everyone's jazzed to be in those movies, I imagine. But like,
oh, sign me up. Someone's like, hey, do you want to play someone?
I'm sure most people are. Oh yeah, sign me up. Whatever. And this is anecdotal because this is just taking my takeaway from fucking all the documentaries and behind the scenes. But it's like the actors who kind of like just ignore George and go off and like I'm gonna direct myself in this scene tend to do shit better. Like Ian McDermott like knows how to inhibit the role of the Emperor, and he fucking loves it, so he just goes off and does it.
Well, actually, I heard that's the hard part about working with Lucas. Usually, is he doesn't really offer a lot of direction
Yeah,
At all.
it's like Harrison Ford talked about it, like in the original filming the first Star Wars, where it's like, okay, like he's a real life pilot, and he asked George for directions on how he should be handling the fucking Falcon taking off or whatever. And he's like, I don't know, just hit some buttons,
Flick some switches. Yeah.
and he's like, fuck, fine. So like Harrison started just doing shit on his own.
Yeah.
Because like he obviously wasn't getting any direction otherwise.
Well, I mean, there's infamously, Woody Allen casts the perfect person for the role, and then he doesn't offer a whole lot of direction. And basically, the only way you know you're doing something bad is like he will only stop you when you're doing something wrong. Otherwise, like if he doesn't say anything to you, it means you're killing it. And like apparently it's like really tough to deal with as an actor because you don't get any feedback.
You don't get any feedback.
But you start doing something wrong, and he'll be like, "Hey, stop that." He'll be like,
You probably get good feedback if you're a 13-year-old girl.
"Yeah, probably," or his daughter. Anyway, the thing about that, I was thinking like creativity and polish is like I think it's the same for acting though too, where it's like because there's not a ton of time now, you don't get to like fuck around on set. Like you have very limited time to actually like you got to know your lines when you're there. Cool. Absolutely. But like there used to be like a 5-step process that everybody followed, right? Where it's like you would you'd block, you'd light, you'd rehearse.
Yeah.
That kind of thing. Or you'd rehearse, you'd block, you'd light, you'd shoot, that kind of thing. Tweak and then shoot. And now, because there's just not enough time, like, you might be, like, the second main actor, right? The co-star. And you may never speak to the star outside of when they say rolling.
Yeah, it used to be a crazy thing to people, like, say, like, where people pointed out, Star Trek II, Wrath of Khan, like, everyone's favorite Star Trek movie.
Yeah.
Kirk and Ricardo, or William Shatner and Ricardo Montalban never on screen together. They only
not even once,
They only ever speak through intercom.
Yeah, they're not. Yeah, they're never in the same scene.
They never meet. I forget the actor who played.
I bet that's true of the prequels too. There's a lot of people that just never saw each other.
I forget the actor who played. Fuck, why am I blanking on his name? But anyways, yeah, there's only one Star Trek originals OG Star Trek crew member, Chekhov, who meets Ricardo Montalban in Wrath of Khan. Everything else is just on fucking intercom.
No shit.
The whole rest of the movie.
Yeah, that's true. I forgot.
So that's actually kind of impressive when you think about it. Like, fuck, why can't I remember Chekhov's name? The guy's still around. But anyways, that's probably true, especially with how fast these movies are fucking made. Dune was finished. Dune was supposed to be in theaters a year ago.
Yeah.
Which means it was done years before that. So it's like, sucks.
Post-production's gotten faster, but that's also another reason why, there's not a lot of creative range or like not a lot of wiggle room, because post-production starts on these movies sometimes before shooting starts.
Oh yeah,
like all the assets getting made and stuff like that. So like if your character does something slightly different, you're like, oh, you know what, we're gonna change the next scene. No, you're not going to change the next scene. There's not going to be rewrites of the next scene that does anything that changes location. Michael Caine has this story in his acting book. Basically, if you want to be a screen actor, the best book that I've ever read on acting for it is Michael Caine's Acting in Film. It's just bare bones, straight to the point. Like he wastes no time. Like if you're like, oh, I really want to inhabit this character, he's tells you go fuck off, learn your lines, decide what the character is, show up and listen to tweaks. And that's kind of how he is. But he gives a lot of tips on like how to look a certain way on screen and how to manipulate the audience and shit like that. But he tells a story basically where like they were shooting in the 70s some film, and the director randomly decided that they finished early, and he like looked at the light and he was like, oh, this is great. Hey, let's just go shoot your final scene under that tree over there. Rather than wait until the end of the week and, go do it at the location we planned. Fuck it. That tree looks nice. We'll do your last shot there. You got a monologue.
Yeah.
Can you learn the lines in the next hour? And Michael Caine was like, I learned the lines in the next hour. That's how it was. Like I went in the trailer for an hour while they set up shit. And then I came out and I nailed it in one. And like, everybody was like, fuck, Michael Caine. Cool. But the point is like, you can't do that really that much anymore. And it's not, it's not a dig at any filmmaker or anything. It's just that like that's
The
how
nature of the beast, and then
Yeah, that's how filmmaking
fast
is.
This factory has to move now.
And I don't want to sound arrogant and like bring us into like the lofty, I'm not saying we were making Hollywood blockbusters, but like part of the reason I liked making Assist Me is one, we were stuck to one location just because of money, but two, like if we had an idea, we could rewrite the whole episode right there around the idea, and often did, and it often gave me goddamn ulcers to figure out how we were going to make that edit, but we would do it, and most of the time, not every time, most of the time, it ended up saving a flat scene or sometimes making the whole episode way better. And I think that's one of the benefits that, like, we don't have indie films anymore. Not really. Most indie films they talk about are like $5 to $10 million, and those are rare anyway. But even then, you're talking about it's going to star Brad Pitt. Like, there's going to be a fuckload of polish. Ad Astra did not have any fucking, audibles called on it. And Ad Astra is another sci-fi film you should see if you haven't seen it. It's great.
Yeah. But like relating that to say gaming, easy to point out in film where there's polish, but not
it's not the most creative. Something not to shit on Dune, because I love Vano and I love Dune, but I would say that another reason why Dune is the least Vano is it is the most reliant on special effects.
You're relying on a lot of like visual stuff. Like shit has to like scale.
There's the least amount of like humanity in it.
Yeah,
and so you can't change.
That also seems like thematically like part of the story too.
And if that's part of the point, great.
Yeah.
It's just something that, like, I would argue that if your first Vano film ever is going to be Dune, you're missing out on what makes him so great. Dune's great. You're gonna have a great time. But watch Sicario, watch Prisoners.
You haven't seen Blade Runner 2049.
Watch Blade Runner.
What the fuck is
Blade Runner definitely has a lot more human
God, I love Blade Runner. Like,
it's great. It's a great movie.
It's fucking depressing existentialism.
It's slower than this one.
Yeah, is it? Well, it is. I don't know.
It's way slower than
it
Dune.
is, but like I'm also still fucking fascinated by it. Like just fucking Ryan Gosling sitting in a car waiting for like the autopilot to wake him up. Like it's still fucking fascinating.
Oh yeah, no, I mean it's a great movie. But you're not gonna like Sicario. The reason why I tell like if people want an intro to Vano the blockbuster filmmaker, go watch Sicario, because one, the writer of Sicario, Taylor Sheridan, is amazing at writing westerns. Like, I mean, he's probably great at writing everything, but he's really great at writing westerns, and his writing meshes so well with Vano's directing that movie is like, it doesn't even feel like a blockbuster. It doesn't, like, it's all big name actors. I mean, like, bit characters are played by, like, really talented actors and big names. John Bernthal, just before he really truly exploded, I guess, kinda, is a bit bad guy in that.
That's right.
Yeah, and people forget it, but like his performance in that is fucking great.
Yeah.
But you go see Sicario and you're like, oh, this has the storytelling vibe of a much less expensive film, because there's so much put onto performance and like just inner human connection, shit like that. Dune doesn't have all that. There's attempts at it. The first meeting between, like, when Paul talks to...
Well, there's also actually a lot of cut scenes in this movie. Like, there's a banquet scene that was filmed.
Yep.
And
yeah, it's in the book. I actually was confused why I wasn't there.
It is, but apparently it's fucking filmed, too. And there's
it would be a long scene.
Because then there's photos of people in completely different costumes they don't wear any other point in the movie. And So I'm like, I don't know what's... a lot of people were saying, like, why did they cut that? Why did they... People are saying it's worse knowing that they did film it.
Yeah.
And it's still cut.
Because it's a great scene. It establishes why Leto can... for Leto's kind of he's the perfect lord.
Yeah.
It's one of the reasons why he's like a threat, is that he... Not only is he honorable, but he makes good on it all the time. He's the original House Stark.
This
basically.
makes me curious if this movie will have a director. Because Denny does not like doing director's cut.
No, and he doesn't like.
He said the original cut, the rough cut of Blade Runner was 4 hours. He's just like, oh, you ever people started hounding him like, you gonna release? Like, I have no intention of ever.
Yeah,
It's
no,
like,
the movie
he's
that's
like,
released is the
he's
movie.
He's like, no, it's full of a lot of just pointless filler and it's bad.
Yeah,
He's just like, no, absolutely not. It's terrible. Like, what? No way. And I was like, I don't know. I might be down.
I'm sure they'll do it if there's money in it later. I think he doesn't want to.
No, he doesn't. He has no intention. But anyways, getting into like polish and versus creativity in gaming, I think we have a really good example hanging behind us with Battlefront.
Yeah.
So the first Battlefront, like,
Backdrop. All of our favorite games ever.
like, yeah, Battlefront from
Wolfenstein 2
that
is
was a
actually great.
reboot technically because it started on Xbox One.
Yeah, and it was great.
Battlefront 1 and 2. But like all it was just, hey, can you make Battlefield with stormtroopers? Sure. So there was no creativity. And again, even when they brought it back for last gen, we're not even going to get into the fucking, the loot box, controversy of part 2, but just they're polished games. And you and I were both peer pressured into buying it.
And we played it for 2 days.
For about, a few days. And it was about, I tried to get rid of it like not even 2 months later. And they're like, we'll give you $5.
Yeah.
And I was like, the fuck, whatever. It's a coaster now, I guess. So.
I'll keep it.
Because that many people within the first month already returned it.
Yeah, because there's not a lot to it.
Well, I mean, and you could argue, I'm like, well, the problem is more just content, not, creativity. I'm like, there's nothing creative about the game, but it is polished. It was a good looking game. But
yeah, no, I would argue that it's very well polished.
It was fucking designed by committee. And I think a big one, and I freely admit it, I play a lot of Call of Duty, but I think Call of Duty is a game that has a lot of polish, and frankly, at this point where they've made a Call of Duty every year for the past 15 years, I'm going to be honest with you, yeah, a lot of them are just not that great. Like, an easy target is Call of Duty Ghosts.
Yeah.
It's polished, there's zero creativity, and no one really likes it. What
made 4 as impressive as it was?
Well, 4 was like, okay, so 4 was like there's a couple things. One, it was the engine change.
Yeah. It was hyper polished, but I would argue that it took risks.
But it was also the first game to get a break away from World War II, because at the time everyone was like, World War II shooters were sick of World War II shooters. So everyone was actually super pumped and jazzed because it was like, we're going to do modern warfare. That was a thing at the time. People playing Call of Duty now weren't even fucking cum when COD 4 came out. So they don't even understand that the years leading up to COD 4, there wasn't modern warfare shooters. There was that Conflict Desert Storm game.
Yeah, there was. And it was...
and that was the definition of anti-polish.
Yeah, but it was fun. It's really
we
fun.
We had some fun with it.
But I mean, like, fun.
It was practically indie with how low budget, low stakes, whatever.
But it really went for it.
But Modern Warfare was like, oh shit, we're gonna do Modern Warfare. We're gonna tackle, the Afghan, in Iraqi war conflicts at the time, and
which was also something that was uncommon. Like now, it's like the idea that like, oh, we're gonna do something about the wars of the time, and we're gonna say something edgy, and we're gonna have something fucking happen in it. This game had fucking a nuke going off, and people were like, whoa, you don't do that. I remember people being like, whoa, I don't know how I feel about, or an execution on screen, and people,
it started with that, that one guy getting executed in the square. So I mean, it was new,
and it was creative.
It was
did
creative.
Some things
like the all gillied up level was interesting.
Yeah, and also uncommon for a first.
Yeah,
person
so
shooter.
there was creativity in COD 4. In 2007,
because I would argue that there wasn't there wasn't a way to do things in it. Like now, hyper polished, and it was polished, but like a hyper polished first person shooter pretty much follows the COD model.
Yeah.
Like you're gonna have the COD model.
It just the cinematic walk down a hallway, watch events,
probably the same
watch timed events, sequences play out, yada yada. So unfortunately, COD 4 being so successful because it was polished and it was creative, Activision did what Activision does, which is fuck it to death.
Yeah.
Which is,
I mean, that
where we are
corpse
now.
is almost dry.
Yeah. So Call of Duty, I as much as I do still play it and enjoy it because it's free,
Yeah.
for everyone. So whatever. It is a game that is polished and it is boring.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I like. I think Warzone was a jump in the right direction, but also it wasn't exactly creative, right? There was already 3 other battle royales that were doing it and
There's
doing
a
it
Call
well.
of Duty Battle Royale before Warzone.
Yeah, there was a ton. The way had been paved.
Yeah.
But I would argue that it's one of the most polished battle royales.
Sure. Sort of. Well, I mean, except for the lack of anti-cheat, which they announced they're going to do it, and then a day later it leaked.
There's no money in it. There's no money in anti-cheat.
Right.
Well, no incentive
actually,
for
no.
them.
Well, I'd argue that's not true anymore, because apparently they're losing player base. Like apparently, like a sizable, because enough of the quote unquote streamers, the big top gamers, are actually getting really fucking fed up with it and leaving flat out, and it's actually causing problems. Well, and I would love to know, because they're never going to tell you. They're too busy trying.
Well, they were putting top streamers in their own lobbies.
Well, it's like they're too busy right now paying off lawsuits, for workplace harassment to like probably think too much about it. But the other thing is that I would love to know what the monetary loss is when certain large people with large followings pretty much just are playing a tournament or playing, officially on the stream, and they just come across hacker after hacker after hacker, and they just like, fuck it, I'm done, and they stop playing the game. So now all the people who follow them and try to jump on the game when they jump on, now they don't want to play anymore. So I wonder, because I don't know. Part of me thinks like they still make so much fucking money, they don't care.
It'll limp on for a while. Like it's,
sure.
Look at WoW. WoW's still fucking going, or didn't it?
It's still going, but you could easily argue it's still limping along, and like
because it makes just enough to justify it.
Yeah. And they released the classic version, even though they made fun of people to their faces at BlizzCon about not doing a WoW classic, and they finally did it, and it actually was like a nice boost for them. But they play they used to be the top dog.
Yeah.
But they play second fiddle to 14 now.
Also doesn't surprise me. 14 was another game that had loads of polish and then had to be redone because...
Did it?
Those...
I would argue some ways yes, and a lot of ways no.
The original 14 was pretty... It just sucked.
Well, there was a lot of copy-paste on the fucking world map.
Yeah, but it was a polished game. Like... It just
graphically,
sucked.
Yeah. Like it looked nice for an MMO, especially at the time it came out. But it sucked.
Like
I'd argue that was Final Fantasy's problem for a long time.
And a game doesn't. Well, Final Fantasy hasn't been creative in a while.
Well, like they try to be. Well, I don't know. Final Fantasy is a weird duck where it's like they always try to reinvent the wheel, and a lot of times it's like you didn't need to. Like no one asked for this kind of thing. And sometimes it really works. That's like the weird problem where it's like they'll do a Final Fantasy and they'll come up and they're always trying to be different with their battle system, and sometimes it really works and it's great, and then they do Final Fantasy 8. It has its fans, but it's exploitable as fuck and broken. Yeah.
Squall's cooler than Cloud. Get over it.
Laguna's cooler than Squall. Squall sucks.
His outfit's better.
Everyone knows Laguna should have been the main character. That's a way that I was thinking about that. I mean, not really polish related, but necessarily, but like I like 7 and I like its characters, but I don't love its characters that much. Like
I think 7 has one of the coolest settings for any of the
Cloud's a standoffish asshole, and that's by fucking design. Which is fine. I don't think you're supposed to love Cloud. I don't think you're supposed to relate to Cloud. You shouldn't be relating to Cloud. Like, Cloud has issues to work through. And, you can relate to someone working through issues, but Cloud's issues are weird, man.
And he's nothing but red flags.
Yeah, nothing but red. Yeah, that too. So it's like, okay, like, that's I'm like, I mean, I enjoy Sid's banter, but Sid's an asshole.
Well, they're
7.
all, they're terrorists. right?
They're terrorists. And they tried.
They're eco-terrorists.
They tried to basically like soften that blow really hard with Remake by say like, oh, well, it was actually Shinra setting itself up.
Right.
Yeah, like because in the first game, Jesse's like, wow, I didn't think the explosion would be that big. Like I guess I don't know my own strength. And in this game, she's like got PTSD, and they very clearly say, well, no, Shinra actually set up their own bombs to blow it up to make them look like terrorists, kind of thing. And it's like, you're kind of pussifying the fucking like point of this game, a bit. It's like it's okay to have like a little bit of a hard edge characters where it's like they're going to murder the planet, and these people are going to do like a really they're going to do something that you don't want to, they're going to do what you don't want to do.
This is a terrorism.
They're taking away the moral quandary of 7-a-bit and Remake by like making, it's really not that bad. They really only wanted to disable the power plant. They didn't want to, blow, the thing sky high.
They're not bad guys.
They're not bad. They're not bad guys.
I think that's a lot of like the reframing.
You just gotta believe in your friends and the planet, and you'll be able to save it. Kind of like,
And dolphins don't rape people.
Yeah, well, exactly. We'll see what happens with the remakes going forward, but they did pussify a bit of the cast and I feel they dulled the edges to be more to be nicer about it. They did dull the edges a bit.
That also, and I mean, like the original was polished for the time, but like, look at how much more polished these remakes are. And I would argue that they're doing less. Well, they are. They're doing way less with the games.
Again, I'm very much like going to hold off my disappointment with 7 Remake until we get to that second game and see where they're going with it. Because if the second game, and I like the battle system. I think the battle system is great in Remake.
Yeah.
It's got a great battle system. I'm not going to argue about that at all in the gameplay part. But if Remake Part 2 is exactly like Remake Part 1 in a different environment, I'll actually be upset. Because then I'll be like, why did you fucking bother? Just make a fucking CG series, because that's all you wanted to fucking do.
Yeah.
You fucking you just wanted to be CG Hollywood, okay? Like you wasted fucking like years and time of like anticipation in life, where it's like, it's not like, and again, I enjoyed the game, but it's like, fucking 7 is when you take away the fucking cutscenes, you're left with a really short game of really short fucking boring ass looking environments and a fun battle system to go along with it. You take away the story and cinematics and all the little character moments. You boil it down to its core essence, and what do you got? And you've got basically like a decent battle system in a bunch of fucking corridors.
Yeah, I wonder when the game opens up to the
and you
world.
Don't go anywhere.
Yeah,
that's the other thing.
Yeah.
You go to about 3 places in the underbelly, and then you go to the headquarters. And that's actually what shocked me. Like, okay, we spent 1 chapter going to Jesse's home. Whoop-de-doo. It's an empty street and a factory at the end of it, with more cinematics. I wish we got a lot more of that, but at the end of the day, it's like you didn't really get to explore Midgar. I did feel a little bit fucking cheated, where I was like, fuck, okay, we're only gonna go to the end of Midgar in part 1. That seems like we're really dragging this out. But I'm like, but okay, we'll explore Midgar. We'll get to see everything about Midgar. We'll really get to, see how this works. And you get obviously shit's expanded upon from the original, but I'm still playing mostly the same fucking part of
and I'm wondering
7-1. And I'm like, 2 better open this shit up, because I am not going to be thrilled with 7 Remake 2, where they basically adapt the entire fucking world into being like those hallways of those parts of Midgar that we got to explore.
Well, I mean, I think it's annoying that Remake didn't actually end up being open world.
Or just open, like, just let you explore Midgar at least.
Well, yeah, I mean, people shit on, like, on open world as not having direction, like, that's the criticism that gets made. Your GTAs or even Ghost of Tsushima, like I would actually say Ghost of Tsushima is one of the most directed open world games.
It is.
Like it's very much like
it's definitely funneled. But it's like they split the island into 3 chunks, and you only really go in these areas during these chunks.
Yeah. But even if they would have done that with Midgard,
Yeah.
right? If they would have separated it into 3 chunks and you get to explore just
Yeah,
the
like
chunks.
upper plate,
Because
lower
Midgard's supposed
plate.
to be a huge city.
Yeah, it's
It's supposed to be like a mega city. Yeah, well, I mean, right out of... Well, whatever. Here, we'll just...
supposed to be a huge city, and yeah, you don't really get to explore. You watch the fucking cutscenes happen. Like, look how much time and money we spent on these character models and these
It's
cutscene
like a
animations, and we even lip
Spirits
synced it in
within.
English and Japanese. And it's just like, why didn't you just make a fucking movie? You know, if this is the crux of the fucking video game, it's like, oh, but the VR was, I had a lot of fun in VR. I'm like, that's great. They could have sold that to you for fucking like $20 if all you cared about was the VR and Coliseum fights. Like, and it's it's a fun battle system, but like,
I do sort of wonder...
shit.
I do sort of wonder how many, especially game directors, how many directors in gaming, like that's what they want to do. They just want to make movies. And this was just their way to do that.
Well, now that the project has shifted over entirely to one of the guys they brought in to basically get Remake 1 finished.
Yeah.
Now that he's now full charge, like the head director of the whole project going forward, actually, I have a lot of hope. Because he said a year ago in Famitsu where they're like, oh, you know, what are you looking forward to? What are your inspirations? He's like, I really fucking love Horizon. I'm really inspired by Horizon. I hope we can, you know, like that was his thing. Was his motivation was he was fucking enamored with Horizon Zero Dawn.
I would like that.
So I'm like, yes,
Yeah.
that's what you absolutely 100%.
yeah.
That's what you should be doing with Remake Part 2. Yeah, take that inspiration. Like I'd argue Ghost of Tsushima is better than Horizon, but Horizon ain't bad. Horizon's pretty dope.
I don't know.
It's
I don't know
pretty
which
close, I'd say, but Ghost has a way better battle system. Or just combat feel.
Yeah, I guess I would say that. I like the
prettier,
world in
too.
Horizon a lot, so
I do
I'm
too.
probably biased.
I really do like, and I wish the coloring in Horizon was as good as it was in Ghost of Tsushima.
Ghost is really good.
Because like I've actually switched back and forth like on stream between like Ghost and Horizon, and it's like Horizon has definitely like a duller filter, and you can actually go into photo mode and like turn it on to vivid, and it actually looks more like Ghost of Tsushima.
I bet you it's because it's supposed to be post-apocalypse, and so they put that like post-apocalypse filter on there and shit. It's like nothing can be pretty ever again.
But it is a pretty game. It is
Yeah.
pretty. It's just like the color grading is
Rough.
a little,
Yeah.
It's slightly more muted. Where Ghost of Tsushima is all about vivid, and bold colors. So
That makes sense.
which I like personally. But anyways, point is,
I like vivid and bold
point is
colors.
that 7 Remake is a good game. It has good gameplay. It has good polish. It is well worth taking the journey. But holy fucking shit. Like
not the most creative.
this you had better do more with the rest of the series when we've moved out of this fucking town. Like,
Well, so to round out the episode, I think there's we've talked about this game a lot, but I think it is also just like a perfect example of like no money being into it, but also just like very creative, and so it changed a franchise forever, and that's Link's Awakening. Made literally on off hours.
and people don't know this. Like, people don't know that aspect of it. You know,
That it was made.
It was made off hours. They almost had to basically fucking steal. They didn't, but like it was almost like stealing a fucking dev kit.
Yeah.
And to work on it.
I would argue that it is one of the more memorable games in the series.
Well, Aonuma flat out said the Zelda franchise would be in a completely different place if it wasn't for that. And he didn't work on it at all. But he said there were so many things in Link's Awakening that changed the direction and how they thought about designing and pacing a Zelda game after that game. He says the series would not be the same without it.
So the timeline of Zelda games coming out is you had Zelda 1, Zelda 2,
In Zelda Link to the Past.
Link to the Past.
Which is more or less a remake of Zelda 1 in a sense.
I can see that. Okay. So Link's Awakening comes out is the 4th game that comes out?
Technically the 4th game.
How soon after Awakening does Ocarina come out?
5 years.
Yeah, so it definitely had an effect there. How much of, because I never played 1 and 2.
Mm-hmm.
I want to say I played Link to the Past on Game Boy Color?
Advance.
On Game Boy Advance?
Yeah.
I feel like I played, yeah, I guess it must have been the Advance. But the thing that like how much of Link's Awakening differs from the first two games? You know, how much can you see a clear trajectory where it's like
There's
this
a lot
game
of
that's
there's a lot
nothing
of this,
but love?
Yeah, there's a lot of the same, and then there's a lot different. It's actually when you really boil it down, because the look of Link's Awakening to Link to the Past very similar,
Yeah.
almost to a point like, holy shit, how the fuck did they get 16-bit Link's Awake or Link to the Past to like look almost? Obviously, it doesn't look as good, but like looks reasonably as good on a Game Boy. How the fuck did they do that aspect of it? But a lot of Link's Awakening was born out of Tezuka. He wanted to do things in Link to the Past, and Miyamoto shot it down. Because
And so he's just like, then I'll make my own with hookers and blow.
exactly. One of the big things for him was like he wanted to do combinations where if like you just combine items on two different buttons but press the same buttons together, you'll get combination effects. Bomb arrows is the big one. It's like equip the bow and arrow, equip the bombs, and when you press both buttons, you'll shoot an arrow with a bomb on it. And Miyamoto was like, no, because he said one button should always be dedicated sword button. Was Miyamoto's stance on it. Like you should always have one button as a sword button, so you couldn't combine shit like that for Link to the Past. But Tezuka really wanted to see what would happen, so that's where you got Link's Awakening, where it's like bomb arrows, and then you have these Pegasus boots, and they added the cape or the Rock's Feather. I'm sorry, Cape's the Oracle games, but they added Rock's Feather where it lets you to jump. But like combine that with the Pegasus boots, and you can get long jumps, so you can like cover great distances, like over like empty like pits or something like that, right? So he was all about that life, all about like combining shit, and that was a creative thing born of that. But there are other creative things too, where they did the trading sequence game, because there's things to do with the NPCs in Link to the Past, but they're kind of like one note. Go here, this guy. Oh, you found this thing. Bring this thing to bring one thing to one guy. Thing solved. That's kind of it, right?
Yeah.
And some of them are a little more involved, where it's like, oh, you'll lead this guy from point A to B, and then they'll make your sword better. It's still kind of like one thing, but there was the trading sequence was first introduced in Link's Awakening, where it's like, no, this thing encompasses like most of the NPCs, and you have to basically do it throughout the course of the whole game, because you won't have access to every area right away. But the big thing was story element. They didn't focus on story at fucking all till Link's Awakening.
And I would argue that most games at the time didn't put much.
No, they didn't. And their thing was like they had some ideas. There was Tabata was like, I had this really cool idea, like this weird thing. He had this weird idea of this egg on a mountain. Yeah. Which was okay.
Mountain eggs.
He had this really weird mountain egg idea. And Tezuka was super into Twin Peaks. So when they brought in Koizumi to write the script, they're like, what do you want to do? And like, well, like they want to have this thing with his egg. He's like, okay. Okay. All right. But he's like, but Tezuka was like, I'm really into Twin Peaks. I want to do a thing with Twin Peaks. So he's like, basically make the town full of like eccentric characters.
Yeah.
There's no eccentric characters fucking at all in Link to the Past. Like, oh, there was this guy who was a blacksmith and he ran off to the dark world, and then you find him and bring him home, and that's kind of it. There's a bug catching kid. He gives you his net, and he got sick, so he can't catch bugs. Go catch bugs for him. Like that was kind of it. Like, but there's like weird shit. Like Link's Awakening. It's like you'll meet this old lady who's constantly sweeping, and she's always screaming Yahoo. And then at one point, like she sweeps him up, her broom is gone. So eventually that becomes part of the trading sequence, is to get her a new broom.
Huh.
There's like a guy who's in love with his pen pal, but he looks like he looks like Will Wright, like the SimCity guy or whatever. And you find out the person he's writing all these love letters to is a goat in Animal Village. And then the goat has you send a letter to him. So you do deliver the letter, and she encloses a photo of herself, but it's a photo of Princess Peach, and says her name's Christine. There's all these fucking weird eccentricities like in Link's Awakening, which was like, okay, cool, go for it. Like, and then there was like, then they even added the moral quandary, which they didn't do then, and they almost besides Majora's Mask, they never fucking touched again.
But the game is super polished too.
It is.
Is it as polished as the other games in the series?
Well, I mean, there are glitches in it.
It's smaller.
Speedrunners it's smaller, a little bit smaller, and there's definitely glitches. Speedrunners have found hacks and like weird little things, but like they weren't glitches that you were going to run into in any normal sense. It was extremely polished for what it was at the time.
For 3 dudes doing it in their off time.
Yeah, and then more were brought in, and more were brought in, and then just...
Well, I think something interesting as like a closing note is like, is there a AAA title in your head right now that you're like, it's got no polish, but everybody loves it?
Yeah, Nier.
Nier is, yeah. I was gonna say Dark Souls, but
Dark Souls is actually pretty good too, especially the
choice.
original one.
Part of the reason why it's hard is that like those controls are just no effort put into them. But game's great. It's a great game.
Well, I mean, honestly, like I think polish can get overrated a bit. When you have things like, okay, like when Minecraft was coming in from space, it's not polished looking really. Like
it's a good idea.
It's a weird fucking thing. It's not. Yeah. It's not really polished at all, and I think it really probably just confused the hell out of a lot of people. Another one that we don't really touch because we're old is Roblox.
Yeah, I don't
now
think
that's
I've
more
ever
of a game.
I don't think I've ever.
That's more of a
at.
game creation service, in a sense, but it ain't fucking polished at all.
It's just rough.
It's rough, and it's like it's got that sort of Little Big Planet Dreams quality to it because it's user made games, right?
Yeah,
and so it's extra rough.
I think something that...
And it's making some of the most money in the whole gaming industry.
One of the games that I really, really loved on the original Xbox was Far Cry Instincts and Instincts Predator. And my favorite thing...
creation.
Yeah. And like those maps and like the games people would come up for it, not that polished because it's all... You're just using other assets to build other assets. So like, yo, my God, it's a castle or a fortress or whatever. And it's made entirely out of bridges, But it's not polished, but at the same time, it's super great. Like I had a great time with that.
Here's an interesting thing you bring that up because I've not played it, and I don't think you have either, but Far Cry 6 was having a bit of sort of kickback against it because everyone's saying like it's fine, but it's the same fucking thing. Like there's a lot of people and even reviewers were saying like there's nothing really wrong with Far Cry 6, but it feels really thin. The Ubisoft open world formula feels real thin at this point, and there is no map creation anymore. There's none of that. Like
the map creation being lost and the Predator aspect.
They pick an exotic locale. They pick they come up with a really sort of like weird, creepy, or memorable in some way villain. Put him front and center. And then they, first person, make you do a whole bunch of fucking Ubisoft open world tasks, and that's the game. And it is polished, and the stuff I've seen is for the most. I mean, Ubisoft they have a lot of bugs, but it's like I feel like with Far Cry 6,
they're not quality of life bugs though.
Yeah, well, people are not complaining so much. Oh, the game's glitchy, the game's a mess. And that's happened with Ubisoft. It has, but like, what the fuck was that game? Immortals, Phoenix Rising. Far Cry 6.
Yeah.
Watch Dogs Legion, if it ever came out, I guess. Even Assassin's Creed Valhalla to an extent. It's like, they're fine, but...
Yeah, I was...
You're definitely not feeling the creative itch in those games that their predecessors had.
I like Valhalla, but I definitely like Odyssey way more.
Yeah.
And I would actually argue that Valhalla probably is more polished.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe not in actuality. It's just like, I don't know, the
but you've seen it, you've done it.
Yeah, it's the same, I guess, and so I just have more nostalgia for Odyssey.
And I think the real killer of creativity is annualization. I think at the end of the day.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, I think what's hurting the creativity in these polished games is the annualization. Like, just we're gonna have one this year. We're gonna plan it every year or every other year.
The franchise, just like in movies, franchises kill creativity. You got to have one every. Ending on a real downer. Franchises
honestly,
kill
like if they just because Zelda was not technically annualized, but it was the 4th game with Link's Awakening. But they wanted to make it. They really wanted to make it. No one told them at Nintendo, "You should make a Game Boy Zelda. We need a Game Boy Zelda." They're just kind of like, I wonder if I could do this.
Yeah,
like, just born out of their desire to see if a crazy idea would work.
And also, games at the time were cheap enough to make, I guess,
They are.
in
They
comparative.
are. That is a very
comparison.
very fair point. But
Now you can't just be like, well, I just want to spend $100 million making this thing that I really like the sound of.
yeah.
Because of a mechanic.
Everything's a business investment now, and
Yeah.
they're expecting, you don't make a big business investment without a return on investment.
Planned. Yeah, you can't.
So that's what's killing big budget games. It's killing big budget movies. Not even killing, because they're still making money. They're still doing well. People are still buying them. People are still enjoying them. But even big ass fans of MCU and big ass fans of Call of Duty and big ass fans of anything of that ilk, no one's gonna argue they're creative. I don't think.
Well, I mean,
like some people will, because they'll argue anything to death. But like for the most part, it's like people playing Call of Duty. They're not playing Call of Duty because they want to see some fucking new gameplay thing they've never seen before. They're playing it because they know what it is and they're comfortable with it.
I think that's another reason why it spawned my wanting to talk about creativity versus polish. And maybe that's not even exactly what we're really talking about, but it's like I'm getting burnt out on comic book movies. I enjoy them. I think they're fine. But like I sort of miss, I don't know, your B movie, I guess. So I've been watching a bunch of like Nicolas Cage B movies because he's the one guy that makes them consistent. Like
right, yeah.
Prisoners of the Ghostland just came out, and it's a bit trippy. It's fucking. I mean, it is not. I wouldn't say it's a good movie, but it is like it's trippy. Like it's something you are not gonna see this movie from anyone else. Mandy, another one, like it's a Nicolas Cage movie. I would say it's way more polished than Prisoners of the Ghostland, but it's also another trippy indie movie where Nick Cage fucking kills it. Pig, like I've been watching his essentially like throwaway movies and realizing that there's actually some of them like there's gems in Mandy and Pig are some of his best performances he's ever given.
And not like I think that's another thing you and I always talk about. Like not everything has to be a fucking 10 out of 10.
Yeah, no, not that's true.
Like I watched. I have no idea why I fucking did it. Probably just because of the Art Deco. I watched Reminisce when it was out on HBO Max. The huge. I have no idea why I watched it other than just the Art Deco style. I was like, whatever.
I haven't seen it, but I've heard mixed.
I like an hour or two to get. It's not good.
Yeah,
it's not great. It's okay. It's whatever. It's okay. But it ain't a Marvel movie. It doesn't. It's in a setting that's not like any of the other movies. It's funny because it's supposed to be this weird sci-fi setting of a flooded Florida, and I'm like, I don't know. I don't know how sci-fi this is going to be.
So it takes place in 3 years?
It takes place in about 3 years.
Well, it's something that I noticed about kickback against The Green Knight is like, I went into it, I was like, oh, it's going to be an art movie. It's an art house movie.
And they didn't sell it like that at all.
Yeah, no, and people were all like, it's going to be an Arthurian MCU movie. And it's like, ooh, you got lied to?
You got lied to. That's the thing. Is like, I think I just watched the movie just because it looked different.
Yeah.
Like, it didn't look like... I watched this movie solely because it didn't look like a franchise film.
Yeah, and I think maybe it's just like it's not comic book movies so much as it's franchise films that I'm getting tired of.
And frankly, a lot of people feel that way with gaming, with indie stuff. People love indie stuff because it doesn't look... But then I'd also argue like, well, yes, but then there's a lot of like stuff that's coming out that looks really samey. Like a lot of indie stuff has the same either
what they can afford to do
art or like particular, just like a particular style that's not pixel,
Flash. Flash animation.
Lack of better term, it has like a very Flash animation look,
yeah,
or a very 2D 8-bit look, maybe 16-bit if we're lucky, kind of thing. There's a lot of indie titles that have a very similar look, sadly, because there's so many indies now, and now they're starting to get homogenized a bit.
And there's a bit of a boom, yeah.
But people did jump into indies and got excited about indies for that very fucking reason, because like no one was making games that look like this anymore. Now it's like, unfortunately, like market's a little bit flooded. It's a little bit.
Yeah.
If you're an indie game, I would suggest not going for an 8-bit aesthetic.
Or if you're going to go for it, have a real good gimmick. Like have a real good... I mean, look at Undertale.
Yeah, yeah. Or just do something that's like I would argue if you want to do like a pixel retro art look, push it. Do something that like the SNES and Genesis couldn't do. Like make it look like a 2D Saturn game. Because I mean, there'll be a lot more work, but
it'll make you stand out.
You stand out. There's no lack of 8-bit or even early 16-bit looking indie games. Unfortunately, that's a bit commonplace now. You want to look. You want to look like.
It's great that it's there.
It's great
Like,
that it's there.
I don't know.
But like, yeah, I feel for a very, very competitive waters now, because indie gaming is very competitive now. Like,
Yeah,
there's so much indie now.
there's also more developers than there ever used
more
to
developers, more indies, so there's more
be.
competition.
Fucking
so,
Full Sail.
So,
I know a guy who went to Full Sail and like he's killing it. And like I don't know anybody that's killing it that went to Full Sail, and this guy is like he's just doing great. So like, all right, Full Sail. But isn't Full Sail a con job?
Yeah.
Didn't it turn out to be a con job?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Well, I guess there's always one in a million.
it's gambling, man. Like,
yeah, that's fair.
people wouldn't gamble if literally 0 people ever won money. If nobody ever won any money ever at any point in history, no one would be playing slot machines still, or roulette or anything.
I'm gonna be that one in a million.
It doesn't have to be, the odds don't have to be good. The odds don't even have to be fucking humanly feasible.
You just got to see someone win every now and then.
They just have to exist, right? It just has to exist. Even if it's statistically an impossibility to win, there has to at least be one winner somewhere, right?
Yeah. Yeah, that's fair. On that downer note, we'll catch you next time, dudes. Thanks for hanging out.
Later, dudes.